Hey guys, welcome back. It is chapter 2 of the book, The Semi-Retired Real Estate Agent. And today we're going to talk about a little bit, after all, I'm a teacher. And I talked about my mom last chapter. And in this chapter, I'm going to go into talking about my dad a little bit. My dad has been an amazing human being. If I could be half the father that he is, half the husband that he is, anybody who's lucky to have me is very lucky to have me because he is just an amazing man. You talk about who's your hero, and people say their dad, and sometimes it seems very cliche, but this is the reality is of what he has brought to the table has been unbelievable, and is his dedication and passion for teaching has rubbed off on me just in a different way. And what I talk about in this chapter is basically that he was a school teacher. I grew up in that school teacher household. You kind of know what goes on and the care that he has for other kids that weren't just his own, right? He was always going to graduations. He was always going to football games for even well after I graduated high school. He was always going to games, doing all that stuff. But one thing about that is that even though I knew that I was a teacher at heart, I always thought that I would be a teacher, but then I kind of looked and saw how draining it was to be a teacher in the formal sense, in the school area, in public schools, and do all that kind of thing. I enjoy teaching people, and probably to the point where it's like ad nauseum, where they're like, "Oh, I don't even want to hear this anymore." But the reality is, I didn't realize that I was still being a teacher, even to this day. Until a couple years ago, and even most recently, I have a podcast that's called Learn for Two, and the idea it's built on 3 pillars. And pillar 1 is to document my journey to create an international real estate team. Number 2 is to learn with the intent to teach others, and number 3 is to find my voice for those who are looking for it. So even though I wasn't a teacher, I don't have my degree to be a teacher or anything like that, but I am a teacher just in a different way, and I love to learn things and share them with others and try and get those people to understand what it is that I'm trying to accomplish and how I think that I can help them in a sincere way. And so chapter 2 it's a lot about that. Really, it's about me being a teacher, and that's another reason why I have kind of dialed into the group that I'm with and the brokers that I'm with, is because I have the ability to, there's this knowledge out there that others need to hear, and they need to be connected with it and shared with, and the best way to do that is to go ahead and teach, basically. And again, it's not a formal teaching, it is more of the sharing of information, I guess. But that's chapter 2, basically, and it's about getting people to better themselves through the knowledge that I have, the things that I learn. I want to teach them, and that's why this is such a passion project for me, because not only even the podcast, I get to learn something, I get to teach to somebody else. I've always been a connector, and I've always just wanted to connect people. I don't always have the right answers, but even more importantly, I don't always have the right questions. But if I have the question here, and I know somebody over here that might have the answer, it's easy for me to connect those, and it's something that I love to do. So that's why this has been such a match for me, to be able to connect people, teach them, this is what I've learned. Hey, maybe this could work for your business. Maybe not, but maybe it will. Maybe you'll thank me for it later. So that's chapter 2. After all, I'm a teacher, and to this day, I'm still teaching. So, all right, guys, I will see you in chapter 3. Have a great one.